Did you know every single country on Earth is in debt? That's not an exaggeration. Every single one. The United States? $34 trillion in debt. That's 120% of its entire GDP. China? $14 trillion and climbing. India? $2.5 trillion and still borrowing. Even tiny nations like Iceland, Lebanon, and Sri Lanka are drowning in red ink. But if everyone is in debt, who exactly is collecting? This isn't just a bookkeeping error. It's the way the entire global economy is designed to run. Once you understand how it works, you'll start to realize that money is less of a thing and more of an illusion. But first, what even is national debt? And why does every country seem to rely on it? Section 1. What is national debt? Let's say a country is like a person. That person makes money from a job. For a country, that money comes from taxes. Citizens and businesses pay taxes, and the government uses that to fund roads, schools, the military, hospitals, and more. But sometimes, governments want to spend more than they collect in taxes. So what do? They borrow money. This is national debt. Countries borrow in three main ways. We will get to these in a moment. But before that, it's crucial to know why countries can't just print more cash instead of borrowing money. Sounds easy, right? If a country needs money, just print it. But here's what happens when they try. In the early 2000s, Zimbabwe printed more money to pay off its bills. The result? Prices exploded. People needed bags of cash just to buy a loaf of bread. At one point, they had a $100 trillion note worth less than a roll of toilet paper. This is called inflation. The more money you print, the less it's worth. It's like watering down soup. More liquid, less flavor. So, no, printing money isn't a solution. It usually causes more damage than debt. Section 2. Is debt always bad? Imagine you're the head of Germany's Ministry of Roads and Highways. You have a budget of $10 million to build a national highway, but the actual cost is $20 million. If you wait to save up the extra $10 million, it might take 5 years. That means delaying economic growth, delaying job creation, delaying efficiency. Instead, you borrow the money. You finish the highway on time. It boosts trade, lowers transport costs, and increases productivity. That's smart debt. Productive debt. The kind that pays for itself over time. Many wealthy countries do this. The US borrows to build infrastructure and fund research. Japan does it to invest in healthcare and innovation. As long as the return on investment is higher than the cost of borrowing, that can be a powerful tool. Section 3. So who do countries owe this debt to? Countries borrow in three main ways. 1. From their own people by selling government bonds. 2. From other countries. 3. From international organizations like the IMF or World Bank. For example, about 70% of the U.S. national debt is actually owed to American citizens and institutions. That includes banks, retirement funds, and even regular people who buy treasury bonds. The rest is held by foreign countries. China holds around $800 billion of U.S. debt. Japan? Even more. So when people say China owns America, they're oversimplifying. In reality, most U.S. debt is actually owed to Americans. Developing countries often owe large amounts to international lenders like the IMF. Some countries owe each other. For example, the UK owes money to the US, while the US also owes money to the UK. And yes, sometimes they even owe their own central banks. That's like borrowing from your own piggy bank. It's not as simple as one country being in debt to another. It's a tangled web of borrowing, lending, investing, and reinvesting. Section 4. Can a country ever be debt-free? Technically, yes. Realistically, almost never. A few tiny places like Macau and Liechtenstein have no national debt. But they're small, wealthy, and don't need massive infrastructure. Big countries like the US, Canada, or Germany, they almost always carry some level of debt because it helps them grow. After World War II, US debt was 110% of GDP. Did they pay it all back? Nope. They just grew the economy. As GDP increased, the debt-to-GDP ratio shrank. That's like your income growing so much that your mortgage feels tiny. Debt isn't always about paying it off. It's about managing it well. But here's where some of you might be thinking. If every country is in debt, why doesn't the whole system crash? Because economies keep growing. Debt is usually measured against GDP. So as long as the economy grows faster than the debt, it becomes more manageable over time. Plus, countries don't repay debt all at once. They roll it over, refinance it, or issue new bonds. And yes, a little inflation helps too. It makes old debt cheaper in today's money. So now you know why every country is in debt and who they owe it to. But there are still huge questions left. Why can't countries just cancel each other's debts? What happens if a country simply refuses to pay? And how does all this debt affect you? We'll break that down in the next episode. So if you don't want to miss out on future videos, consider hitting the subscribe button. Because in the world of money and power, what you owe says a lot about what you control. Stay tuned.